flies around every minute. You need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes is Africans in diaspora and back home leading English news network. One of the most respected and trusted sources for news updates on current affairs as it affects global Africa.
Current affairs as it affects global Africa. And this morning we've come to do updates on current affairs as it affects us, Nigerians in diaspora, Africans in diaspora. Welcome viewers to Wednesday, SSM, Wednesday, 24th April, 2024. My name is Mark Godwin Iweajunwa, and I'm here with my colleagues, my brothers, coordinators, correspondent, whatever tag you want to call them. I'm here with George Chukwu all the way from Toronto, Canada. George, you're welcome.
Good morning, Mike Godwin, and good morning, viewers from around the world. We welcome you to our show today. It's going to be a fantastic one, as always.
Good morning. Yes, as always. And joining us also from Lagos, Nigeria, is our man, Ogbeni Raji Olayinka. Raji.
Yeah, good morning, Magdo. Good morning. Good morning, viewers from all around the world. Welcome to our almost always awesome program. Thank you.
Always awesome. Listen, gentlemen, we can't do this all masculine look, man. We need some feminine touch. And right there in Lagos, Nigeria, also is our lady Bidi Nana. Bidi, good morning.
Good morning, Massive Mark, Sir George.
Yes. Good morning, Bidi.
Viewers all around the world. Thanks for joining us again. Once again, let's do it like always.
Let's do it like always, BD. You're welcome. Let's just do a small follow-up story last time. The AIG has backtracked on his statement. Gentlemen, you remember the talk from the AIG that Nigeria is not matured for state policing? They came out yesterday and said, first of all, he says it is somebody that represented him in an event. The Assistant Inspector General of Police represented him at the event. That's Ben Okolo. Okolo represented Kayode Egbetekun at an event. And Ben Okolo is now saying that statement is his personal view, not what his boss told him to say. So now, George, you are on this one always. They're backtracking now. Maybe they heard what you said. Maybe they heard what you said.
Possibly. And not only that, because we saw the president himself actually basically advocating for it and then telling people to, wanted to have views about the whole entire thing. Yeah, that's the issue that we're having right there.
That's Ben Okolo. So he said is his personal views that the AIG didn't make that statement, and it doesn't reflect the stance of the police force or the AIG. That's what Ben is coming out to say. I guess it's also because a lot of people went against that statement. He said also, Ben is also telling us that the police force is yet to come up with a statement on that issue, the issue of Nigeria, local policing and all that. Raji, the man has backtracked. Let's just talk about this a little before we move on.
Yes, I don't think he actually backtracked. Even when he made that statement, I said that it was his own personal opinion. Okay. And I don't see how the police will also even have to have an opinion. This is a national matter. So the police should probably keep out of it. It was his personal opinion. Whether he has backtracked or not is beside the point. It was his personal opinion, and it doesn't cut anything with me.
It doesn't catch anything with you. BD, BD, what's your take on this? The man said this, and he's now saying, no, it's a personal thing. He didn't say this, so blah, blah, blah. Do you have any?
It has become a culture with us in Nigeria, with the kind of governance we'll have. Our governments will come and say something, and before you know it, they'll stand before the Nigerian states and deny that they never said it. It's a culture, so we're not surprised. So saying that it's not his opinion or his opinion have not changed what they want or what they want to do with Nigeria when it comes to policing. Do you understand? So just, I'm not surprised. It's common with Nigerians.
Thank you. It's common with Nigerians. But before we go on, something that is not common with Nigeria is having intelligent people in a program like this, having minds that are patriotic, nation builders, and people that really want a good, beautiful, progressive Nigeria. With us is number one is our lady Fiona Akanu from London, UK. Fiona, you're welcome to News Echoes Wednesday update.
Good morning, viewers. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, Fiona. Also, the conveyor of Sorosoke, Better Ninja. You know, I like those terms he has tagged his movement. Femi, okay, you're welcome to Wednesday News Echoes Global Africa.
Thank you for having me.
It's amazing. It's amazing today. We have a complete and absolute representation from UK, the lady and the guy.
And now we're going to have more confrontations with them all. Gentlemen, let's start with the main news now. The main news that is on the burner all over Nigeria is what is happening between EFCC and the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. The EFCC boss, Ola Olukoyede, EFCC chairman, says, he says, if I do not personally oversee the completion of this investigation against Yahaya Bello, I will tender my resignation as EFCC boss. Let me start with Femi. Femi, this is it. This is APC man, APC governor, was 8 years in that tenure, and so much scandals are coming out now. So much money squandered, all kind of stories. Now, the one that is even annoying the most is the one that came out yesterday, that he had to pay $720,000 from the Kogi's account to pay his child's school fees in advance. Femi, let's hear you.
Look, this is a scandalous allegation, and it's unbecoming of Yahaya Bello, who's an ordinary citizen. I won't call him His Excellency or anything like that. He's just an ordinary citizen. He doesn't enjoy immunity, and he shouldn't be going around with impunity. He has got questions to answer, and he should tender himself to the EFCC, the law enforcement authorities, to answer these questions. Charges have been already been leveled against him, and the matter is in court. He has to give himself up and face the charges. Anyone who is, the way I see it, if you are innocent, you won't be running away from the law. And what I find most scandalous about Nigeria is that when everybody should be condemning any kind of allegations of corruption, and we should be saying, yes, let him face the law. We have a whole vocal minority chatting and saying, oh, leave Yahaya Bello alone. Oh, there's this court order, that court order. There is no other country in the world where someone who is facing criminal charges will be able to go to court and get an ex parte perpetual injunction restraining the law enforcement authorities from doing their job. And we have senior advocates of Nigeria, which people call them servants against Nigerians, like Abakoba, going on national TV telling people that, yes, they should leave him alone and that they should first deal with that one before he should be prosecuted. This is outrageous. And I can see why the Nigerian Judicial Council didn't recommend Abakoba to become a judge.
Very disappointing to see Agbakoba saying those things. Sir George, you were saying some things in the group yesterday, group chat, and I think those were very poignant points. The fact that the EFCC man should make this look very formal. Let's hear the EFCC man, George, before you talk. Let's hear him.
What was this of There's cashier, the government house cashier, the guy that was bringing the billions. I'm so passionate about the need for us to move forward in this country. A sitting governor, because he knows he's going, you move money. I mean, the particulars of offense is there. It's before court. Go and check it. Apply for our processes, please. You will get some of these particulars of offense there. Move money directly from government to bring the change. Use it to pay the child's school fee in advance. In advance, dollars. How much? 70 what?
Yes. Total is over almost 800.
Okay, gentlemen, let's come to this discussion. George, let's hear you. There was something you were saying about.
First and foremost, I want to commend the government and EFCC in what they are doing. Finally, we are coming to the point where we are holding people accountable. It doesn't matter what party they are. You know, in the past, you will steal. If you are the PDP, then all of a sudden, if APC is in the government, you will jump over and jump APC in order to hide, and vice versa. It used to happen. And we've seen it happen so many times, where switching from one party to another becomes a safety valve for thieves and rogues in the government. But today, they are being held accountable. And I want to commend highly our president for appointing such an individual who is so passionate about, you know, fixing this type of ill that has been going on for decades. But also, like I was saying yesterday, I believe that, you know, two things that he said, which I did not like, which made him look a little more like, personal, you know, thing. Yes, you can be passionate, but let it stay on a professional level, whereby, you know, you're just not coming over here and talking about, if I don't do this, I'm going to leave my job. You know, it's not good at all. We should not do that. We must stay strictly. We understand your passion. We understand that you want things to be fixed in Nigeria, but we have to stay within the gray area of that. Yahaya Bello, turn yourself in. Go and answer. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, George. Let's come to BD. BD, you were also giving some response yesterday. This is how it is. Governors squander state money not meant for him, and now we are getting to know this. Tell us from your corner, what's the view?
Yahaya Bello has done something that we should not should sit here and be talking about. But my question is this: do Nigerian government actually want to arrest Yahaya Bello? Do EFCC actually want to arrest him? If you ask me, I don't think they want to arrest him. Maybe they just wanted to make Nigerians feel like, oh, they are doing their work, they are working. Because we know how they pick up fraudulent Nigerians, fraudulent governors, fraudulent politicians. We know how they pick them. They find them where they are and they pick them. Before you hear it, they're already with EFCC. But now, a whole EFCC chairman came to Abuja yesterday telling journalists that I called him and I was begging him to come. And he said, oh, that one lady journalist has about 100 journalists surrounded EFCC, that they want to embarrass him. They don't want to put shame on him. And I begged him, pleaded him, just come and come to my floor. Nobody, who does that? No, I don't understand. Do they actually want to arrest him, or they just want to make Nigeria look like they are working? I don't think they want to arrest him. Because if they want to arrest him, they know how to pick him up, they know how to arrest him. So they should spare me that.
Okay. Fiona, is that true? Let's hear from Fiona. Do you think they want to just change the...
Yeah, I think, to be quite honest, first of all, yes, I'm very happy with what the EFCC is doing at the moment, and all the moves they appear to be making. But I align 100% with what BD's just said. What is all this? What is all this big drama about? It just seems like drama. It just seems like showboating. Nothing's really being done, but there's a lot of talk happening. Oh, we don't know where, all those sort of things. So I agree. Everything that BD said, I'm completely and totally with her 100%.
Raji,
okay.
Yes, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That whenever there's a lot of drama in the public, I step back from the drama and look around and say, there's something else happening that they want to distract me from with this drama, because there's too much drama in this what do they call it, Yahaya Bello case. Yahaya Bello had an ADC, had policemen who were guarding. What stops the IGP to give order to those to the ADC and to the police who are guarding him to arrest Yahaya Bello. If they really wanted to arrest him, there were policemen with him. They assigned policemen to him. So if they want to arrest him, they should just arrest him through the same police people. And then look, when the lawyers come in, I really don't like the way we're chastising Agbakoba. He's a son. He understands Kenny. And I've heard sons arguing that the EFCC Act is not complete. It's a federal act, and therefore should not be applicable to states unless the states are aligned with it. And I can remember a case of Ibori where the EFCC wanted to arrest him, and the data people said Ibori did not steal our money. Who petitioned you to come and arrest our former governor? So there are so many untidy areas.
Yes.
I do not. You see, there are so many untidy areas.
Yes. I mean, let's hear your last take on this.
This is the noise of the opposition. When the government, I really want to thank George, who's unequivocal in his comments, although, you know, there's reservations. The noise is not from EFCC. The noise is from Yahaya Bello. They were there to arrest him, and he, with the Governor Ododo, with his entourage, are the ones that made him escape. So it's not that the EFCC weren't going to do their job. Should we have a situation where now the EFC and Ododo's security are fighting against each other before he gets arrested? So, I mean, I personally think that EFCC should have stood their ground and said, even the governor, you cannot leave until you hand over Yahaya Bello. And in fact, the governor, by assisting Yahaya Bello in resisting arrest, has committed a criminal offense. And harboring Yahaya Bello, he has committed a criminal offense. And what we should be having from the Kogi State House of Assembly is impeachment proceedings straight away, because if you look at the Constitution, any governor that commits a crime can be subject to impeachment. They should be impeaching him. But what are we hearing from Kogi State government? The House of Assembly is saying, oh, EFCC removed the phrase wanted from, you know, from our former governor. These guys are sycophants. They're not serious. And anyone falling into that line and saying, giving any succor to Yahaya Bello, to me, is outrageous. We should all condemn. In any other country, they will be condemning this and they would have no reservations. They won't give it any kind of, blaming this. Let's give these people their due. Let them do their job. I mean, you can say they're partial because maybe they haven't arrested some people, they have arrested, but whenever they're doing their job, we should support them 100% until something comes untoward. But what you find is the judiciary, in my eyes, is the problem of Nigeria. How can a judge be issuing these kind of judgments? In any other country, it wouldn't happen. And so they've got to follow the law.
In any other country, it wouldn't happen. Thank you.
Can I finally say something?
There's a similar.
George, go ahead.
Okay, yes. Listen to this. I am. You know, I'm annoyed because the reason why I'm annoyed is because of this factional type of nonsense that is going on. Oh, leave him alone. It's been happening for many years. We are coming to the point where we have to put the hammer on the head. And as a matter of fact, I am calling EFCC to go to Abia State and listen to Elect Oti about Ababio. I mean, about, you know, the kind of money that was taken out of the coffers of that Abia State. I am calling EFCC to go to Imo State and begin to look into all of these things that are happening. Bring them to judgment and recover that money back to the state. It must happen. So, we can be talking about drama like a TV, like a mom-pop business or whatever the case might be. EFCC should put their foot down and continue to pursue distance, recover this money, make taking money away a huge crime that they will not, it will not be do or die situation to get into the, government, because that's a place where you
thank you, George.
money.
Thank you, George. Okay, BD, yes, let's make it the last take on this. Go ahead, BD.
Noise. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Talk that they are making. This is what government of Buhari started in Nigeria. When something happens, they go and buy and recruit group to come and speak on behalf of Nigerians or on behalf of states or on behalf of group. Exactly what Yahaya Bello is doing now. Now, for Sir George, who gave example of Abia State and Kogi State, Abia State and Kogi State is two opposite states that cannot, the government of Kogi State, we all were here. We knew how Yahaya Bello committed a lot of atrocity, stole people's mandates, and did a lot of fraud to install that governor who never won that election. And now you want him to come and give him up? He can't. He would defend him with his life. He owns him that thing.
Ododo is that governor that was given the victory, and we all followed up, like BD said. Anyway, SSM stands we stand together to say that Yahaya Bello should surrender. Yahaya Bello should be fined. Should be, I mean, whatever it is EFCC has to do, let them do it on Yahaya Bello, and let them not give us story like BD has told us. EFCC can go up to where he is, pick him up, and let him face the wrath of what he has done, because he has stolen people's money. And guys, do you know this? Listen to this, every one of you. I used to pass through Kogi State to go to school. I was in Zaria, Ahmed Bello University. Kogi was the pathway to the north. Now, that's a very rich state, but people are living in squalor and poverty. Sad. But that's supposed to be one of the richest states in Nigeria. Now, the governors will come, instead of building up the state, they embezzle the state fund. Sad. Yahaya Bello, we are not with you on this. Go face your charges, and let other governors follow suit if they have a case to answer. Gentlemen, let's go also to another not too good story from Nigeria. The former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika. Hadi Sirika is said to have also laundered so much money, so much. Guys, what do you have on this? Let's begin with Fiona. Fiona, we didn't hear you on Yahaya Bello, so let's hear you on this.
I think that people in power in Nigeria launder money away is now becoming a commonplace. It's not news any longer. I think every day in the news there's something about somebody who was in power or in charge of one of our parastatals taking money away. So for me, the news is not in Sirika or anybody else taking money. The news is in that they are now shining a light on all these things. And I think I have to echo what Femi, BD, everybody has said, Sir George, is that really we need to really be shining a light on all these people and bringing everything into the public eye. And we need to continue talking about it, and we need to continue protesting so that all these different people so that, as they say, it won't be easy. It won't be a walk in the park to go into power and just think you can siphon money away from whichever thing you're put in charge of. I think that's the key thing now. The key thing is that clearly the time has come now that we are looking closely at what people have done with money that they were entrusted with, and we start to fish out all the bad eggs so that we can start to see a turnaround in Nigeria. Now, what did this man do? Hadi awarded a contract to a company known as Ngoros Nigeria Limited, and that company happens to be owned by his junior brother. Now, what did they do again? Femi, go ahead.
Look, you see, this is what they do. You know, I think we need to change our judicial system and our administration of justice. If you're in France and you are alleged to have committed a criminal offense, for example, their jurisprudence says that it is you that must prove your innocence. Once they've got a solid case against you, you have to prove your innocence. And I think that we should start doing that, especially when it comes to corruption. I know in Nigeria, as it stands, you're innocent until proven guilty. But people are, it's abuse of office if you're giving contract to someone who's a relative to you and you've not declared it. If you haven't declared it, even if you've declared it, it's just unseeming. These are things that shouldn't be happening. Gandoje is also included with his son and his wife, you understand? All of them are doing this kind of stuff. Yahaya Bello's paying his school fees for his kid from the government coffers, and people are saying, oh, let him free, leave him alone. It's outrageous. And then we are complaining that Nigeria is corrupt, Nigeria is this. At the same time, servants against Nigeria, like Bakoba, are defending such people. It's outrageous. you know, they're disingenuous. And the thing about Agbakwa, he's the same guy that said, and FCT, all that crap about and, which is shown to be bogus. As I said, that's why they didn't allow him to become a judge. And thankfully, that's great, because if he was a judge, God knows what kind of God knows what kind of judgments he would be issuing out right now.
Hold on.
Why are you attacking Agbagova?
Okay, let me just speak. Raji, go ahead.
Let me go.
No, it is easy. It is easier for the EFCC to arrest people who worked for the federal government. That's why it's easy for Sirika to come in. You see, but when it comes to states, there's something happens there because you're in the federal state. So we have to be careful. And please, Femi, stop criticizing Agbakoba.
No, I won't.
Because it's not here. It's not here to defend
and
himself.
all the rest of them, and all the rest of them, and all the rest of them. I will not.
Anyway,
I will not.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
George, go ahead.
Go on. Yeah.
George, go ahead.
Listen to this. Agbakoba is an excellent international lawyer, whether we like it or not. He's highly respected. Listen to this. What Agbakoba has been talking about is the processes that is tainted, and is not clean. So if he's coming from UK or wherever he is, and he's attacking the processes that is being, followed, you gotta listen, because there are so many loopholes with the EFCC in what they have done and the way they did it. Because he came out so beggarly. Beggarly. I'm looking at when I was looking at him, I'm like, what is this man doing? Why are you talking like that? He's not even talking like a man with authority. He's just so beggarly and just almost like on a defense, defending himself. And
begging Bello to come in.
Emotional. No, it does not look good for that.
Let's not go back to that. Let's not go back to that again. We're moving forward. We're talking about the former aviation minister.
Okay, yes. Let me comment
but let's leave that too, because you used up the time. Sorry, George. I'm sorry for that. A little more of some other stories. Yesterday, the phone helps us get updates. I mean, everybody's following up at real time with what is happening. Yesterday, we had all those stories about a lecturer that was found in a very inappropriate.
Uncompromising.
That's University of Nsukka suspended the lecturer, and that's one Mr. Imafibong Udomi. Sorry, there's a noise coming from somebody's background. Yes, let's talk a little bit about this. Why it's a known thing. I know this. I was in school in Nigeria. Lecturers do this for grades. They get into very, very, very wrong relationship with students, all for grades and other things too. Guys, who wants to tell us something on this? Even though the university has suspended the lecturer and looking into probing him, but this is something that happens in Nigerian university. BD.
No, it's okay.
Yes, BD. Go ahead, BD. Yes.
Unmute yourself.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing we should understand is this. If we actually want to tell ourselves the truth, you will know that we have actually sexualized our society. We live in a society where sex is regarded as nothing. Is it not just to open leg or pull out trouser? Do you understand? This thing happened between a lecturer and a married woman. And the man has been doing it. And the woman now liaised with some of her classmates, and they followed her up and they cut the man pants down. Now, why I say that, you see, this is not the first time we are hearing this kind of news. Thank God for social media and those boys who followed it up, because if it's girls, they might not get him the way they got him. Like I used to say that if anything will get right in Nigeria, if we will stop rape. When I talk rape, I'm not talking about, it's not only men that rape women, women rape men too. Do you understand? If we have to stop it in Nigeria or in Africa, men has to be in forefront. That's just it. It's just like this thing we are talking about, former Minister of Aviation, looting money has become our culture. And for us to stop it, everyone has to be involved. Not these people going this way, these people going this way. So
Thank
this
you,
thing
Billy.
happened. Now,
Yes.
the point I want to make, if you check social media yesterday, when that thing was put on social media, a lot of guys came out and said, hey, where is the girl that she did it with? That how can they naked a man and leave a woman? You see that mindset? This is a married woman who is reading and writing and paid all the money, the textbook, the handout. You still want her body. And other guys help to track him and get him. And a lot of guys on Twitter, we are like, you can't naked this man and leave the lady. Now tell me, how can we solve this kind of problem with this kind of mindset?
How can we solve this kind of mindset? Fiona, it was a very sad thing seeing that whole thing play out, but it reminds me of what happened. It happened in Ife, the University of Ife. It happened in Ibadan. It keeps happening all over Nigeria in schools, lecturers, students in those relationships. Fiona, how can we begin to really check on this?
Yeah, I think what BD said is something that I've actually alluded to when we were talking about underage marriage and stuff like that. I think it will have to start with the changing of mindsets. Men need to be really at the forefront. They need to drive the agenda. Of course, I'm not saying that women are perfect. I've not said that, but I'm saying that men really need to drive the agenda. I have been in a situation where a lecturer, this was when I was in Nigeria, where a lecturer really behaved in a way that was particularly uncomfortable for me. And going forward, when I was actually invited into his office, I was lucky that I had a lot of, most of my friends at uni were guys. And I just used to, everything I used to do with them. But then he started to victimize them, so it can put people in a very vulnerable position. And it has to start with educating the men. It has to start with educating the boy child. Exactly what BD says. They have to lead it. They have to lead the agenda 100%.
They have to leave it. They have to leave the agenda 100%. George, yes, you were going to say something, George. Go ahead now.
Listen to this. We need a complete and absolute cleanup from the foundation, because what you have seen is actually cult members, making sure that they intimidate professors to give them good grades. Secondly, also from the other side of it, you see young ladies, runs girls who will not even spend a day in school. Maybe they'll spend like 2 days every month running around and then, giving themselves freely to the professor in order to, get good grades. So, and professors themselves must understand the integrity of where they are and who they are, and maintain it. Because sometimes when we're talking about all these things, we talk at it from one point of view. Now, all of a sudden, the man is being caught. What about the married woman? No, we need to nip this in the bud, because, there is complicity. It's just almost like the woman that was caught in the very act of adultery, and they threw him at the feet of Jesus. The Lord said we should kill him. What do you say? They wanted to trap him. Listen, Christ forgave that woman and, let her go. But in a situation like this, where the professors, the students, everybody, they have to echo this thing and make it mandatory that everybody knows about the sexual harassment, and the professors ought to understand the integrity of their office, and let it all be all across the board.
Let it all be all across the board. George, thank you. Guys, let's go on a small break. We'll make it very brief because we have a lot to talk, and you guys are putting out very well here today. Viewers, this is it. SSM Wednesday Global Africa Update, and we are tuned in with our guys, George from Toronto, BD Lagos, Olayinka Lagos, Fiona from London, Femi from London, and myself in Milan, Italy. We'll be back.
So compatriots, Nigeria's call, obey to serve our fatherland with love shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe and sala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Urhobo people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in South Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes is Africans in diaspora and back home leading English news network, one of the most respected and trusted sources for news updates on current affairs as it affects global Africa.
Viewers, you're tuned back to SSM Wednesday Global Africa. Guys, I hope you're all there. Yes, more stories coming in. We're looking now at school bullying, assault on students, and all that played out yesterday in Abuja. These issues we bring up are vital, guys. So let's look at it very serious. Lead British International School in Abuja was shut down yesterday following a viral video that captured disturbing, very, very disturbing incident of bullying in the school premises. So I want us to talk about this. We all are fathers here, we're mothers, and we all understand some of these things. Let me start by saying I went through bullying myself as a little boy in primary school, even in secondary school. So I know what it is to be bullied. I know the impact and some of what that happens. You know. So let me start with Fiona. Fiona, you are also in the educational sector. What is this thing about bullying? What is it? How do we? Why do young people want to intimidate, assault their fellow colleague? Tell us, Fiona.
Well, I have no idea why anybody would want to intimidate anybody. So I don't know why. Definitely across the board, it happens. It doesn't just happen from primary school. It happens all the way and through life. In actual fact, it's not just about in schooling. But since we're talking about the school sector, it happens a lot in school. One of the reasons is that sometimes the schools don't have a robust behavior and a bullying management policy. So that, stands in the face of things like this. But the other thing that we mustn't also forget is that some people get bullied, but it's not a physical kind of bullying. I went to, at the time, what was one of the foremost schools in Nigeria, and I suffered from bullying. Nobody ever touched me physically, but there was a lot of mental aggravation, a lot of mental torture. So I think that the key thing in tackling this is for the schools to implement a very robust anti-bullying policy, and really the sanctions should be really firm. I think the Women's Affairs Minister or something went to the school, and the school has been shut down for 3 days. But I heard that she said that I think the girl in this video had been expelled, and she said that, well, she didn't really support the girl being expelled. She wanted her to be in the school and face the wrath. I don't really understand what that looks like for anybody who wants to whistleblow on bullying and stuff like that, because if you're going to be in the same space as someone that's bullied you to that sort of extent, I don't know what sort of pastoral care they will have in place to deal with that. Here in the United Kingdom, bullying is something that's treated very, very seriously. I mean, once anything is sustained for, gosh, by the time you've done it twice, already it's being recorded and it's being tracked properly. I'm not saying that bullying doesn't happen here, but the policies in place are really robust. And I think really to see any kind of change, the implementation has to be in having a policy that's not just in a booklet, but it's actually something that's fit for purpose and something that's measurable and something that people can see.
Something that people can see. Femi, well, you understand some of these human relationship. Tell us, bullying is becoming something that we're seeing more now in Nigeria too. Young people doing this to themselves. I will remember the case last year, it was a serious one too. Femi, give us what your take on this.
Yeah, we've seen these bullying episodes frequently in Nigeria, and especially in private schools. And what you find that you've had cases of children being killed in private schools through bullying.
Yes.
So it's not a simple thing. I'm not so sure that schools should accept the girl to come back, but if the person who's the victim saying that she's, I mean, I don't know whether she's under pressure to say that she agrees for her to come back. I don't know, but that's a tough one too, because there should be a price to pay for this bullying. But then again, it could be that the student who committed the offense realizes the offense, has shown attrition and apologized, and we, like Fiona said, would have to be monitored to be sure that it's not continuing after she gets back in the school. It's a very serious problem, and it stems from a lot of things, because even in households, you got smacking, if you spare the child, then the child is going to get spoiled. But then again, some of the abuses that we see in houses, conducted by parents, conducted by guardians, conducted by house helps, conducted by house aunties, almost killing, children. It's abuse. It's nothing more than abuse, really. And in Nigeria, abuse is, we just talked about sexual abuse. Now we've got physical abuse, child abuse. There's so much, pedophilia. We need to take these things very seriously in Nigeria. And social services need to be more focused on social services. Unfortunately, states and local governments, they're really not doing the best in this field. Although this one highlights it, and we hope that more strong action happens in future.
More strong action should happen in future. George, this is where the Minister of Youth, Culture, and all that comes in. This is where instead of them embezzling funds, this is where they should look at strategies to combat this, how to go about avoiding this in schools. George, tell us.
It's been happening. It happens around the world, everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. But when you begin to bring out laws that doesn't tolerate such a thing, and that people that are found doing such a thing will face a serious consequences, not only expelling them, sometimes they have to take the youth camp or youth where they will go through discipline, because some of these people, what they do, sometimes they will actually treat them like adults. Here in Canada, there are certain crimes that you will commit, you'll be treated like an adult, because this is a matter of life and death. And a lot of kids have killed themselves because of bullying. I went through it myself when I was in school. There should be zero tolerance in all aspects of it. That if you do that and you caught, you see, this young lady, let me tell you what she's actually saying. That she doesn't support her being permanently expelled is because of fear. She's going to be tagged in school. She's going to be looked at, looked down at, and everybody will start coming after her. And, and that's exactly the reason why she's doing this. She's afraid. Look, she never raised up her hand, but it comes from home training. Parents ought to teach their children what to do when they go in public. Because if this is happening at home, that's the reason why a kid can feel that they can go to school and do it to another child and get away with it. But anyway, with all of this that we're saying, let's just say one bit of a good news. I want to wish somebody happy birthday. Yasmin Kenechukwu Fikemi Awele Adike. That is our brother's daughter that celebrated birthday yesterday. She's a youth too. I want to say happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George. Okay, we were going to bring in BD, but maybe okay, Raji, you come in. BD, some of the things I studied that could help bullying and signs, signs indicators that we could be looking at are this. Listen to this. I say when you see your kids showing a change in their behavior. I don't know. I think that's a microphone from BD there. When you see change in behavior, when you see unexplained injuries all over the body, when you see change in eating and sleeping habits, they say these are some signs we need to look at. Yes, pay attention to.
Yeah.
BD, what will you say? Sorry, there's something you turned on that is giving the cracking sound, BD? Is that something?
No, it's not me.
Okay. All right, go ahead, BD. Yeah, we can hear you.
It's right. And that's certainly not for Nigerian parents. With the present economic situation that is people are going through in Nigeria now. How many parents have time to spend with their children? That's another thing. Now, please, before I talk about this, allow me to talk about this. Everybody's talking about Mary and Hassan, who bullied the girl, her schoolmates. And nobody's talking about why was that bullying? What was she bullying her about? She was bullying her about a boyfriend. Who the girl don't even have anything with. When I talked about that we have sexualized our society.
Oh dear. We just missed her. Yes. Raji. Okay, you're back.
She's back.
But we can't hear you, BD. BD, we can't hear you. Okay, Raji, let's hear birthday Papa. Birthday Papa.
Okay. I actually didn't want any publication because I can see that Sir George is looking at my daughter somehow.
No.
And he wants my daughter to call her Uncle George. And I say he's Grandpa George. Thank you.
But your daughter is beautiful.
Pretty.
Yes. Pretty, beautiful. If you had told me this,
she gotta be beautiful. She's from Igbo land now.
Yes, I would have brought a picture out so the viewers can see. Anyway, let's hear your take. Yes, this happened, and now people are looking into how this can be avoided, and some of those things I mentioned are indicators. They say we should be watching, parents should be watching out for, and also follow up in all of this. And one thing George has always talked about parents giving more time to their children. Yes, George said so, and I think Fiona too echoed that. So attention should be given to children when they begin to change in their behavior, when they begin to lose interest in social things, when they begin to also lose interest in their eating and sleeping habit. Because the eating and sleeping habit is this: if it's a boarding school, what they are saying is if the child probably doesn't eat much before and all of a sudden wants to eat more, is because right there in school the bullying takes her food. That person that bullies have been eating that child's food. And also when the child begins to sleep a lot, they say that means that he or she is not allowed to sleep as a result of this bullying too. So she comes home, and she wants to sleep all day long, because at school he wasn't meant to do that. So yes, it's important. I think George will be raising up a program on this, and some of us will join. So let's be saying this, because we never used to say this out. It happened. I went through it, and everybody it's just a silent thing. But people are being traumatized. Like George said, last year we heard of the young man that killed himself, and sad stories surrounding bullying. So viewers, this is it. Let's move on. We lost BD, but let's move on to other stories making round too. this one is big too. This one is discrimination and restriction of foreign of Nigerians in foreign businesses and even school. Gentlemen, let me start with Fiona. Fiona, discrimination, it's a serious thing. Right there in Nigeria, in Abuja, there is a Chinese-based supermarket that restricts entries exclusively to Nigerian citizens. It says, no, don't come in to buy anything here. And while this was going on yesterday, behold, a school in Ilupeju, Lagos State, also an Indian school, has only Indians and Nigerians can come in. You come in through your Indian passport, you're admitted, and all of this is happening. Fiona, let's hear you.
To be quite honest, I'm actually quite disgusted about this. I can't imagine that we have this kind of apartheid going on in Nigeria against Nigerians. It's absolutely 100% not acceptable. I don't know how it has been allowed to even get to this stage. I mean, when I was young, the Lebanese community school, as far as I was concerned, there were people of all sorts of origins that went there. I have friends that went there, and we didn't have this kind of divide and conquer thing, that there's a school anywhere in Nigeria that Nigerians are not allowed to attend. I don't even know how the government is allowing that to happen. That is discrimination on the highest level, which shows again that we have policies that are not really fit for purpose, because that shouldn't be happening anywhere. So I don't know why this is happening. I read about the school in Lupeju, and I heard about the reporter that tried to go in there saying that their family member was Indian, etc. And the request was, well, come back with the Indian relative. You know, which means that we need to physically see, which really in this day and age is quite disgusting. Many people on this platform will not know that my mother is actually white. So for me, I don't know how I feel about a situation where somebody is not visibly mixed or of any particular ethnic origin, and they get discriminated against. So I think it's disgusting. I think the government absolutely needs to wade into this. It's not the first time I've heard this, but I didn't realize that it was something that was so extensively going on in Nigeria. It's not okay. It's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay. Thank you. BD, can you hear us now? It's not okay at all. What we also had is that the one of the supermarket, even though the supermarket has been closed in Abuja, but the owner of that supermarket ran away. Can you imagine?
Yeah, he has fled Nigeria. He's no longer in the country. He has left Nigeria because he knows what he did. The rumor have it that they've been doing launderings in that supermarket.
Of course.
They stopped, and this thing has been going on. You see, that's why when people see what we are doing, they should appreciate us. It's not easy to stand here and speak on everything. A lot of Nigerians have been going there, and they have been stopping them from having access. It's just this young guy that did this thing 2 days ago. Do you understand? Even this Ilupeju own, it's even Lagos State government knows about it. Lagosians knows it. Now in Lagos, in where I stay in Lagos, in my streets, Lebanese have hotel there. I don't want to call the name of the hotel, but I had an issue with them last year. There's this program they do, night hour, you know. They pay a certain amount of money and you have entrance. And that program, they say, is only for Lebanese. And I went there that day. You know, I didn't know because a friend of mine lodged there. I got to know about it. So I went there. They said, no, it's for Lebanese. I said, meaning what? In my own country, in my own area, in my own streets. Because that hotel is in my street. I said, no, it's not going to be possible. You know how they do. And let me tell you, you see all these people that are doing this thing, they didn't just come to Nigeria and do it. They do it with the help of Nigerians. Nigerians give them that hand to do this. They have people in government, people in power, who empowers them to do all this they are doing.
Femi, do you think they have people in power that make them do this? I mean,
look, this is, you know, Nigeria conspiracy theory. Honestly, everything is a conspiracy. The government are doing it. Blah blah blah. Look, what I always say to people, if individuals acquiesce to allow illegality, the culprits are the individuals, not the collective. No, I don't believe any government is in support of discrimination, and that's why that place was closed down and the other one was closed down. But what we must do, let me finish, please,
you.
BD, let me finish. With all these things, I think the law must be made publicly. People must know the law. You know, I talked about the Administration of Justice Act, the Discrimination Act. I think the Nigerian Orientation as body or organization, they need to do more. And we need to have this up, you know, advising people that this is the law, these are the rules. And wherever these kind of things have been found out, then they should be the full weight of the law must be put upon them, and they shouldn't be allowed to escape. The head, you know, one of the guys of Binance, he escaped. This guy escaped. Before you know it, Yahaya Bello is going to escape. You see, these things are just ridiculous, and it is because people within the system are complicit in allowing it. It's not the system that's complicit; it's the people, and that's why I always say many times. It's the Nigerians who are the enemies of Nigerians, and they're the lawless ones, making Nigeria a lawless state.
Mark, can I just make a point?
Okay,
it is dangerous. It is dangerous when we insist that the government has lost confidence in the people. It is dangerous. So don't let us blame the people all the time. Now, talking about the specifics, I don't have. I used to do service for the Indian language school in the Lupeju.
Down the road.
It was set up by the Indian community for their Indian students who cannot go to primary schools and secondary schools. So it is set up for them, and the language there is Hindi. Because it is we in Nigeria who make English our lingua franca. In almost every school in India, the language is a local language. That is, the language of instruction is a local language. So for the Indian language school, that is the language of instruction. I don't see too much discrimination there. But for the supermarket, I don't see any reason why any people should create a supermarket for themselves and debar Nigerians from coming to shop in there, unless there's something suspicious that they are doing in that place.
Sorry, can I just speak to what you said? So the Indian language.
I want to speak to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you said about the Indian language school. I understand there being an Indian language school. I don't understand other people not being allowed to access it though, because at the end of the day, people might want to speak Hindi for whatever reason. So I don't think that's enough of a criteria to not allow Nigerians to access the learning.
No,
it was set up specifically for the Indian community.
No,
the Indian community set it up.
That's fine.
The Indian community set it up.
So if I want to learn Hindi, I can't go there. Why?
Oh, there are areas where you can go and learn Hindi. Yes.
Now,
that is the school for their children.
Mr. Raji,
yes,
you are wrong. Let me tell you, there's an Indian.
Don't be judgmental. Make your point instead of saying I'm wrong.
Sorry about that. You're wrong.
Yes.
You're not wrong, but I totally disagree with that point. Now,
you can disagree.
In Enugu State, if anybody knows Enugu State, former Ife Sinachi, there's a one shop beside there owned by an Indian person, and the children of those people go to school in Enugu. And they don't teach Hausa or Yoruba, they teach Igbo and other subjects. And what they use in teaching in that school where the school children attend is Igbo and English. And it's open for them, they accommodate them. Now, if they have a school in Ndupeju and they are using Hindus and they still teach them English there, and they not say that nobody is allowed, that is only for India, it's discrimination. Yes, it's totally discrimination.
Yeah. Can I support you? And I think, can I support you? And when I schooled in Nigeria, African Church Grammar School, and we had lots of Indians in my school learning, normal. And I think that I think our laws should not allow people to have schools where they just have only their people in the schools. It should be open to everybody. And if everybody wants, and they should be subject to the national curriculum, and that they can have added subjects of Hindi as well. So even though, if it's an embassy school,
it is not subject.
Let me finish. If it's an embassy school, technically that is a territory of India. So in the embassy school, which is part of the territory of the consulate or whatever, they can do whatever they are. But once they come out of the consulate and they're on the land of Nigeria, they should be subject to our laws. And they cannot discriminate against anybody. And anybody who wants to go to that school, whether he's in whatever they're from, should be allowed to go to. They shouldn't be able to discriminate. Because in the UK here, the same thing. Christians go to Muslim schools, Muslims go to Christian schools. And in fact, even in Nigeria, Muslims go to Christian schools. So we can't have this discrimination. It must stop now.
Yes. Okay,
Wow.
It is not discrimination.
Okay, George. Go ahead, George. Let George
listen
speak
to
to
this. Listen to this. Listen to this. It is absolute discrimination.
Absolutely.
Not in our own land. This thing happened a few weeks ago in a Caribbean country where all of a sudden the government sectioned off an area for white folks who came there and said that the indigents cannot come there to that part of the beach. That part of the beach. You know what they did? When they heard this, they went and invited a lot of DJs and brought loudspeakers and went there and continued playing music for 48 hours.
Good.
This is our land. You cannot come over here and say we cannot come there. Who are you in my own land?
Outrageous.
So you cannot allow that to happen anywhere. Not like what you said. You said, embassy. If it is an embassy, yes.
Different.
But if it's not,
we are mixing agbaluma with coconut here.
No, we're not, sir.
No, we're not.
We are mixing agbaluma with coconut here.
No, Raji.
You're on your own, Raji. You're on your own.
We all stand as one here in SSM, and we say that's discrimination. And that is not acceptable in our country, Nigeria.
Their curriculum is Indian curriculum.
Massive, Mike.
Their curriculum is Indian curriculum.
Maybe Raji wants to have a school where they teach only in Yoruba.
Their curriculum is Indian curriculum. It is not
Anyway, guys,
they can go back to India. Let them go back to India. Send their children. Let them send their children back home to India and learn India home.
Let's hear from there's people watching us, guys, and following up also with some text. He says, "I love Nigerians. This exigent wireless." He said these examples are examples of basis for the conclusion that the government of Nigeria has nothing to do with human beings of Nigeria. Anyway, that was exigent, and thank you for putting up your comment. Guys, let's wrap up with this. Let's wrap up with a story that is also African connected, and it's the story of Rwanda and the United Kingdom. The UK Prime Minister says Rwanda asylum policy they've had all this while will proceed despite the Parliament having a deadlock on it. So it says 10 to 12 weeks, they will begin the flight to Rwanda. Gentlemen, let's talk about this to wrap it up, because it's also an African issue. Femi, how do you see an asylum plan that is outside a country? We're talking about discrimination in a country. Now they are taking it out.
Yeah, this policy is a discriminatory policy, because if you're coming from Ukraine, you will not be going to Rwanda. If you're coming from Hong Kong, you will not be going to Rwanda. You have automatic right of asylum. These things is outrageous, but the law has been passed, and the law is the law. So a lot of people, they question some of the asylum seekers, and they've said, if you knew that when you come to the UK, you'll be transported back to Rwanda, would you come? There's a lot of them saying no, they won't. I'm wondering why they didn't have the policy so that they can come to Nigeria. But it's just a joke. We'll see.
Okay. So thank you for that. Let's not go too deep in this. Let's talk also about our president being in. Nigerian president is in this morning. He's in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Yes, he's there to honor the invitation of the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Netherlands. That's Mark Rutte. Gentlemen, that's the picture you're seeing there, viewers. Yes, this was yesterday evening when he was leaving to Amsterdam. Sir George, we resumed to these travels. I mean, Buhari did this.
No,
You
no,
know.
no, no, no. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Okay. Let's hear the difference.
I beg to differ.
Okay,
Now,
sir.
what we're seeing here is like, number one, I believe that for you to be able to connect internationally, especially with a new government, there are diplomatic relations that needs to be established with other countries for business purposes. I know to invite them also, their countries, to come to Nigeria to establish. You don't do it sitting down in your own country. So I believe I believe that, Buhari's travel during his tenure was useless because most of them was in the hospital. It was health purposes. But this man is doing business internationally. It is required, especially with the economic and the financial statute of Nigeria right now and the welfare. Let him go and bring businesses, as long as it's not going to be something like, going over there to waste resources, carrying thousands of people with him. Let him go if he's going to be bringing businesses. So far in Nigeria, I'm very, very happy with what I'm seeing within this 1 year of governance, and especially in certain areas, especially with the EFCC, corruption, attacking them and all that kind of stuff. I am happy. If what he's going for, he's invited, let him go there, because it's important for us to be exposed that way.
Raji, do you take that? Is it true?
I was about to add, Sir George I just said, but please, we should note that Netherlands, as small as it is one of the highest producers of meat, for milk for anywhere in the world, Netherlands. And therefore, if we are there, I hope we are going to learn something from them, so that we can stop all this cattle herding that is causing so much trouble all across the country. So we can learn from them and see how we can have huge cattle farms, so that we don't have to be herding our cattle up and down.
Okay, thank you very much. BD, let's hear from BD, then Fiona, and we conclude with Femi. Yes, BD, go ahead. Do you see the travel as a good one? Will it add anything to our progress?
What will it add? He's going to get investors. Why the ones at home, the business and homes are dying? The business and homes are not doing well, and you want to get another investors. Well, I don't know what to say, but what I want to say is this. Before you invite a visitor in your house, you should make your house visitable. Your house cannot be unvisitable, and you're going out to invite a visitor. They'll certainly not come, or they will come and leave before the time. That's just what I want to say, because there's no point to we not calling a spade, saying things the way it is. I don't see the point. Yeah.
Fiona,
yes.
Who do you stand with, George or BD?
Nobody should stand with me. Or stand on your
I think I see both sides of. I mean, I will say one thing, that I have been actually impressed with Ahmed Tinubu's, trips around. I think in terms of him, trying to harness business ideas and investment, I think that's really key for any economy to grow. So I think I align with that bit. The part I'm not so certain about is the volume of entourage and people that go accompany him. So if you the Minister of Trade, Minister of Foreign Affairs, then I can understand, but the entourage seems to be quite large, and I know that obviously we're spending dollars to fund all these things. So that's for me the part that slightly makes me uneasy. But net, I'm quite happy with the fact that, in fact, I'm even surprised for somebody who we heard was sick, frail. Just the travel alone. To be quite honest, I have to admit that I'm actually quite impressed.
Wow, thank you. Femo, conclude for us. Wrap up.
It's more evidence of the fake. It's more evidence of the fakery of the campaigning of the 2023 elections. Not that I want to go there, but I think it's good for the president to reach out to as many countries as possible. He's trying to bring people in, and like Raji said, Netherlands is known for agriculture and cows and milk. Maybe they can transfer some of that technology over to us. I also think that the president should reach out to Finland and try and go to Finland so that we can have an extradition treaty and see Simon Ekpa come into Niger to face justice. I think that needs to be done as soon as possible. We need to have entreaties with Finland and extradition order so that those who stay out there causing mayhem on our country should have no haven. Even those in the UK also creating haven, creating Oduduwa Republic nonsense over there, they should be extradited back to Nigeria to face the full weight of the law.
We are talking of investment.
Thank you. On this note, gentlemen,
we are talking of investment.
Let's go out. Let's go out. We'll be back on Friday. Thank you all for putting out wonderful insights, beautiful views, intelligent talk. And we've had some good viewers with us all the while. So thank you, viewers. Thank you, George. Thank you, Raji. Thank you, Femi. And Fiona, BD, you guys are awesome. Till we come again next time. It's bye-bye.
Have an awesome day.